to Christine Eilvig, and she is one of the pioneers in Denmark of the self-help movement. Has been working for the last 20 or 20 odd years on this. She co-wrote with another woman a book called Millionairess, which means the Millionairess method, mainly aimed at women. And they took a huge beating for standing up for actually having meaningful work that is fun. And for some odd reason,
and for being rich, and thinking
being,
it was okay.
Yeah, okay for getting rich on actually doing good in the world and having fun. And for some odd reason, people don't seem to like that message. A lot of people did, and it changed. Like, we see a huge movement of people coming after Christine that have taken that message and really run away with it. So Christine was one of the front movers and was really brave with this. She's also working with essential oils and does a lot of healing work through that. And we are very, very honored that she wants to take part in this, because she's one of our heroes, or heroines, we should say. So thank you.
Thank you.
So
what got you started in the first place? I want to hear that.
I think nobody really knows. I think I became pregnant at 25 with my son, and that started a whole awakening, you could say. After I gave birth, I became a member of a mothers group. We do that in Denmark. And one of the mothers, she had the book by Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. And I read that book, and I thought, whoa, why is this not taught in school? Why didn't I know that? Who, I mean, it was just like this whole revelation. And it was both the whole connection between the body, mind, soul thing, and the whole thing about being aware that we have a body and we can create illness if we want to. That was a big aha for me. And then Louise Hay also talks a lot about money in that book. She talks about abundance, how it's available, and how we decide how much or how little we want to let into our lives. So that got me started. I went on to studying angels and feng shui, and then I became very aware that I had to learn about business and money and marketing and sales. And then after a few years with Kirsten, where we had a lot of fun, and like you said, we took many beatings, you could say, but we also created a lot of awareness. And then I got kind of tired and burned out of the whole conversation around money, because I felt like either people will get it or they won't. I'm not going to be the one talking about this. So I went my own way and began teaching spirituality, teaching people how to create and what to create. And I did that for 7 years. And then I became aware of the fact that, you know, this mission is kind of ending now. I tend to do things in missions, and then at some point they're going to end, and I'm always like, oh my God, you know, what's next? I don't like this. Why now? And all that stuff. And I had, I think, 2 or 3 years where I just didn't know what to do with myself or my life. Basically, it was like a moment between no longer and not yet. That's what I usually call it. And then I found myself at a workshop with essential oils, and I got a little bit of frankincense in my hand, and it was like, wow, I have a new mission. So I've been on that mission now since 2019. And I love the fact that the oils are kind of doing the work for me. I'm writing books about them, I'm teaching about them, but people have them in their homes and they're able to use them and teach their kids and feel their feelings and express their emotions and all that stuff. And it's a form of wordless therapy that I really appreciate at this stage in my life. So yeah, so no one knows where I'll go from here, but this is my current mission. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember the first time I had I smelled frankincense, and I was like, "Whoa, you can remember your past life from this."
Yeah.
And the lady, she was just like, "Yes, I know." What?
Yeah, it's the oil of truth, and it's our truth. So it's kind of a big deal for everyone when they smell it for the first time. It's an awakening oil for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. It's like one of everybody knows it because it's in the Bible, like, and from the Christmas story, you know, but like nobody has a relationship with it. It's like it's just this, it's just an, like,
It's just a word.
it's just a word, and then you smell it and it's like, whoa. And it just opens up, you know.
Yeah, true.
So now you have this mission with the oils. Can you tell us what that mission is, or is it just something that unfolds as?
I think it may be grounded in purity. It may be grounded in just. I feel like the oils are like little tools that kind of build on everything else I've been teaching for many years. Mm-hmm. I've always been very about, you know, the law of attraction and how to work with the energy and having that physical aspect now to all of my words. It's just something that's so fitting for me at the moment. It's about teaching people how to get back to wholeness, basically, you know, knowing that we're whole and then understanding how can we live from that space of wholeness and purity. I know from human design, I don't know a lot about it, but I have a cross and it's called the Garden of Eden. So my mission, if you have that cross, it's all about purity. It's about getting back to that place where no one's doing any harm to anybody, everybody's enjoying themselves. And it sounds like a movie, like a utopia, something, but for me it's actually like this very concrete, tangible mission. I've been teaching my kids this, and it's what I live by, and for sure not everyone is getting this message at this stage of our lives, but it doesn't matter. That's kind of what I want to bring to the table, you know, the fact that we are whole and we get to decide, and there's great purity in that message, I find. Yeah.
When you started out on this whole journey with Kirsten and everything, did you realize like how, like, that it was actually a brave action of standing up and speaking about all of this, or did that come as a shock, that how much resistance there was to the message?
It was a complete shock to the both of us. We're both very, some would say naive, other would say visionary. And here we were, and we had been to America a few times studying passive income and the whole wisdom behind creating millions. And we felt, honestly, we felt so inspired, and it was like, wow, this is a great idea, and we're going to help so many women. And we just felt like pure and eager. And the women that we attracted in our courses, they loved it, and a lot of their men did too. But then the media got hold of our story, and it kind of escalated, and it was a shock to the both of us that a message that uplifting could be seen as fraud, or, you know, us being out of integrity or whatever. So I think at that point in my life, I just decided, you know, I'm not going to stand for that whole discussion. If they're not ready, you know, they can figure it out later on, and I don't have to, you know, be the speaker for that message anymore. So I kind of shifted my focus, and Kirsten did too. And I think that was a wise decision at that time, because it brought up so much darkness in people, and so much lack, and so much frustration. And I learned a lot about the media those days. I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. She's 11 now, and I went to all the newspapers and news stations and TV. Kirsten would do TV, I would do radio, and it was just very obvious, and no one knew what they were accusing of us of. It was just we have a story. We think we're going to be mad at someone. We don't know what it's really about. So I was just like, oh, okay, this is a circus. I'm not going to join that circus. So we kind of withdrew from everything and went our separate ways.
It's very, very interesting. Like when you start seeing those patterns, like how everything is in reverse. You come with something light, and they accuse it of being darkness, and like they take the darkness and proclaim it as being the light. And with everything is completely reversed, and it's not just the media. It's so many other places as well. You go to places that claim they're there to help you, and they just traumatize you instead. The whole society.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
And now I see it. We learned it the hard way.
Yeah, we've learned some hard lessons.
Yeah.
But it's also very interesting. Like you come with something. It's like, okay, I have found this thing. I want to bring it into the world. We really want to help these people, and then something happens or nothing happens. But like, you think that everyone will run with this thing because it's so amazing. You have this huge gift you want to give into the world, and it's like, we did something last year or something, and nobody showed up, but it was a really great thing.
Everyone was like, this is the best thing ever, and nobody engaged in it.
Very interesting.
That's why.
Yeah.
People don't want the help, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
But you just have to realize that it's okay that people have to be ready for this. So you came with that message at the right time. And then the next message as well. And now you're working with the oils, which is also definitely hit something. We see a lot of people out there doing this work now.
All over the world, and it's helping so many people.
Yeah.
And there are various brands. So it's not just one, it's many. And I can see that especially children with special needs get a lot out of these oils. It helps a lot.
Yes, and a lot of them, some of them don't have words, and that's why the oils are so great, because it's therapy without words. So I'm very honored, and I feel like wow, I get to just share this, and then it's helping all these people. And I have so many stories by now who it's just amazing to be that facilitator. And you asked me about, am I courageous? I don't feel courageous. I think I have a very low tolerance for suffering. So I'm quick to saying, no, this is not working. I'm going to move over here. And a lot of people, they have a very huge tolerance for suffering. So they almost need to lose a leg or something in order to move. So I think that's part of my success, is that I don't tolerate a lot of suffering. And then I invent stuff, I move, I adjust, I create new ways. So maybe that is being courageous. I don't know. I often feel very, sensitive, and, this, energy of not being courageous, but I guess I am. Looking at the state of the world, I may be courageous.
It's quite a different take on the normal way of being in the world. Like, you have to tough it out, and you have to you lay down a path, and then you follow it no matter what happens. And then at some point you get out on the other side, and then you get the success you should have. So, but seeing you from the outside, we don't see that low tolerance of pain, because you have been in positions that are quite difficult. And you have stood up for yourself, you have spoken out. So that doesn't seem like being...
Well, for many people, it's very courageous just to be seen.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
Just saying your opinion, and especially now. So maybe a lot of people feel the same way as you, that they have a low tolerance for that. They don't feel like speaking out. What would your advice be to that group of people?
I think whatever we don't express is going to stay in our body as eventually an illness. That's my Louise Hay take on life. So I have taught my kids to feel their emotions and then express them, and we can do that in many ways. It doesn't have to be us speaking. It can be dancing, singing, laughing, whatever, but we need to express what's inside of us. And I'm very big on honoring our yeses and our nos. It's been my main focus point for the last several years. And in order to do that, you have to be very aware of what is a yes for me and what is a no for me. And that can change. The next day, it might be something different, but it's very important to act accordingly. And I think all of our problems stem from us saying yes to things that we really don't want to do, or saying no to things that we really feel like doing. So I think that's like the main takeaway of creating a life that you really enjoy is honoring those yeses and nos. And it's not an easy path, because in order to say no, then you're going to bump into your mindset, all of your explanations, your whole identity, your stories, like, I don't like my job, but I can't quit because I need to make money or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff to go through and be honest about. And I'm very passionate about that. And oils will do that same thing. They will get you in touch with your yeses and your nos. So it makes it a little bit easier, but we still have to act and do the job and take the steps. So I think one thing I could share that I'm big on is like the 3 stages of evolution. Have you heard me talking about those?
I don't think so.
No. So the first stage, this is where most of the people on this planet are now. They are born into something and they're not really questioning anything. So if my mom is an academic, I'll just become an academic. If I live in Denmark, I'll stay in Denmark, and I'll have kids in Denmark and grandkids. And it's just a lot of things are given to us. And in that stage, we're not really debating anything. If someone says, put on a mask, we'll put on a mask. If someone says, you need to send your kid to school, we'll just do that. So it's in many ways, it's an easy life, because you don't have to decide anything. You get to be an adult, but with like a teenager vibe, pretty much. Everyone else is telling you what to do, and you can rebel a little bit. You can drink some alcohol, smoke behind the screen, but honestly, you can't really do anything. You have to just go with whatever you're told to do. And then a few people, and I don't know the percentage, but it's becoming a lot more people these days, that's for sure. But at some point they'll read a book, or they'll hear something, they'll watch a movie, and then they'll begin to question the whole thing that they were given. And they'll beginning to ask, maybe I shouldn't be a teacher. Maybe I should just go with the feeling that I don't like this job, and maybe I should begin painting, or maybe I should look at the story around all the pain I have around my parents, or the fact that I always attract this or that or whatever. This is usually the stage people go into self-help, because once you have that one thought, you want to like completely study it, and you want to take educations and do all kinds of things to dive into, okay, I have all this baggage. How can I transform it? How can I go back to that wholeness? And it's a stage. It begins with so much revelation, so much insight, and then I see a lot of people burn out in this stage. Many kind of lose hope. They're like, oh, the law of attraction doesn't work anyway, and who needs essential oils and all of that. Some become comedians. So they will make fun of self-help or spirituality in order to prove the point that it doesn't work. We have a lot of those authors in Denmark too, writing books about why self-help is not working. It didn't work for them, so now they're kind of bitter and now they have to share that story. And others, they become mentors, therapists, teachers, massage, whatever, and they end up having clients mirroring their own problems and their own things that they can't heal or transform. And then they burn out. They're like, if I have one more client talking about divorce, I'm going to shoot myself because I'm never going to divorce my husband or whatever. So they don't want all the mirrors and they end up burning out. A few people make it. And by the end of this phase, you begin understanding energy. You understand that everything is energy. It's not what I say, it's how I say it with the energy behind it. And you begin to study more healing modalities. You look into your karma, all that stuff. And then phase 3 is there's a very few people on this planet living there. And it's all about sovereignty. It's about freedom. It's about wholeness. It's about purity. So like a cell, when it's completely vital, it's round and very like vital all the way around. And that's kind of how your whole life is. So you can be rich if you want to. You can earn a little bit of money, but live in a place where you don't need a lot of money. So you need to have that financial freedom, basically. So it doesn't mean millions necessarily, but it means freedom. So you're not in a job that you don't like. You don't say yes to everything that you don't need or don't like. So you're like very sovereign and very in tune with, this is me, this is what I want, and now I'm going to do it, basically. So you go from a lot of karma to just living what they say in India, your dharma. So your life's purpose, basically. And this is why if we're living our dharma, we can't have hang-ups around finances, because then we need to kind of sell our soul in order to make money. And that's going to take us out of the whole dharma. We can't have issues with our bodies, not like these very profound issues anyway. We need to, if we have a little bit of a cold, we need to have ways to get over that quickly and then move back into the flow. So it's a very demanding stage. It's like the master stage. It's like the sage that's kind of like got it and is using the rest of the time to either have fun or show someone, how can you have fun, but it's not bitter. It's how it's supposed to be. It's like the Garden of Eden, like I said. Yeah. So I love to, when I meet people, they're always in stage 2 and they're at the end. So they've had like a gazillion educations and they're masters at this, that, and the other, and they're kind of burned out of teaching or whatever they're doing, and they're looking to go into that final phase. And I help them with money sometimes. A lot of people have hang-ups around money. It could be physical stuff. Yeah, it could be physical stuff, and I just show them, if you want to go here, this is what you could do. And it's basically honoring your yeses and your nos.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you just saw, head on over to whoselifeisitsummit.com/podcast, where you can find full-length episodes as well as in audio format. And we do a lot of other cool stuff. You can hang out with us and other like-minded individuals who want to create a world that works for everyone. And we do that on our platform where we can chat, and we have Q&As and exclusive interviews as well. So there's so much to get over there. So come on over and play with us.